this episode of Hank's Corner. I am Hank Jr., and I have a very special guest. She is the 2021 Josie Music Award nominee, Eliana Weston.
Hi,
Eliana, how are you today?
I am so much better now that I'm here.
All right, well, good. I see that you're starting to get into the Christmas spirit. I could see the tree behind you. I happen to have a couple trees here myself. So, where are you calling in from?
We'll just call it the backwoods of Indiana. That might be why we have a bad connection sometimes. I say my neighbors are corn, soybean, and cows.
Okay, and you say that, but I think I actually saw a video that you had posted where you were wrangling up a bunch of goats.
Yes, so those are also my neighbors. I have neighbors on
So we're I guess we're having a little tough technical difficulties here.
neighbors
Um,
decided to call me just then. It's like they heard the podcast. No,
oh,
yeah, those goats are our neighbors, and they decided to break through the fence and come visit for the whole day, and
okay,
them from eating our apple trees.
all right. So do you have any animals like that yourselves, or these are all your neighbors?
I used to have a bunch of animals. I was actually a 10-year 4-H member. So I was raised with everything. I used to help my friends wrangle their goats and cows and horses and all that. And we raised animals. So, yeah, I've been around animals since I was a little bitty. I love animals.
Yeah, and I do too. My favorite is the horses. I love riding horses, although I've never been really good at it. I say I'm a great side saddler, but my wife just tells me you're just falling off the horse. That does not count.
If there's no video evidence, there's no proof. For all they know, you could be doing rodeo stunts.
I agree. So you said Indiana. Have you lived there all your life? Is that where you're from?
Yeah, so I actually was originally born in Ohio, but I don't, no offense, Ohio, if y'all are from Ohio, I love y'all too. But I count Indiana as my home, and I spent it about 50-50 Indiana and Nashville.
Okay. And I was going to ask you, how often do you get to Nashville? And you told me about, 50-50.
Yeah.
So now, how did you get into the idea of, I want to be a Nashville star or a music star? Where did that come from? Who inspired you?
As silly as a story this is, I still to this day have never wanted to be a Nashville star. I always seen it as, and there's a lot of stories behind this, but I always seen it as if I could provide 3 minutes of a good cry, because everybody sometimes needs a good cry, and 3 minutes of making people smile, even if it was just 3 minutes out of their day, then I had reached what I wanted to do. But it all kind of started with my mom. I always say this story. When I was a little bitty, and by little bitty, I mean like a baby, I would not sleep at night. The only way that I could go to sleep is if my mom was singing one of two songs, and one was Stand By Me, and the other was Country Roads Take Me Home. 100 times. So I got sleep. She still got no sleep, but it worked great for me.
Okay, well, thank you, Mom, for doing that. And so, as you got older, were there's any particular artists that you looked up to or that influenced you?
Oh, absolutely. We were raised on a lot of Southern gospel, whole lot of Elvis, whole lot of Elvis. I personally have always loved Brooks and Dunn and Reba, Chris Stapleton. There's so many. Like, I think that's what country music is stories of life. And so it was like you grew up learning life by country music.
And was there any particular song that when you were little that you would just go around singing, or any artist that you can remember early on?
Oh, it's Elvis. Elvis through and through. I've got so much Elvis stuff. It ain't even funny. It's a serious problem. Like, it started with Southern gospel Elvis, and then it was just, oh, it went downhill from there.
Okay, and you mentioned gospel a couple times. So I've seen that you've done a lot of posts where you'll post Bible verses. Is faith something that's big with you?
Yeah, I think a lot of country music artists started in church. That's where I got my start singing. I sing in my sleep, but it started with singing in church. I would sing in Christmas plays, and I would just, that's where it all started. Is I would go around the house singing like Etta James, singing Swing Low Sweet Chariot, or like Amazing Grace, or whatever it was. And faith is definitely a big part of it. I don't think I would have anything that I have without God. That is a firm belief of mine.
And sometimes I've noticed that it's easy for artists to proclaim that faith or stand by it, especially like you said when you were performing in church and you have that type of crowd that's around you. But as you get out there into the world, did you find that it was harder to continue with that faith? Were there any obstacles because of that for you?
Well, I think with anybody growing up, like, I think it's the same as being a little kid. When the older you get, the more you forget about like stories or like um, Mother Goose. But I think there's a certain aspect of, yeah, the older you get, real life does cut into that, especially in country music. Country music, even though it does have such a beautiful ground in faith, there's so many aspects that it can definitely be hard. But I think on the other hand of that, having such a beautiful faith and such a relationship with Christ, it's made life easier in some ways.
And that's good to hear that because it is tougher. I've seen, when you get out there into the bigger world, sometimes it is hard to continue to proclaim that. You compromise here, you compromise there, and before you know it, you're possibly not where you should be. But that's awesome that you like to do that. Um, so you played in church, you go to Nashville and play. Where are some of your places that you love playing in Nashville?
Oh, I actually one of the first places that ever let me go on stage. I picked up the phone. I was like, "Will you let me sing?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, go for it." So I'm not sure why they said yes, but they did. Very grateful. And it was the Opry Mills stage in the mall. And I
Okay.
had a couple times, and I think that just has such beautiful sentimental value. I've done the Tin Roof down on Broadway. That was a great one.
All right. And so I know that you play a lot of covers, at least you do a lot of them on your Facebook page.
Absolutely.
Um, is there any particular cover that you like doing the most, any particular artist, or it seems to me that you like to do a variety from all different artists and
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I love to try a little bit of everything. I love anything Chris Stapleton, anything, which one of my favorites is one of the songs I'm going to be doing for y'all tonight. I'm a big story song person. The more story there is in the song, the more I love that song. Um, but I try to mix it up and add some fun songs and some sad songs. Again, 3 minutes of crying and 3 minutes of laughter.
okay, and you mentioned Chris Stapleton and that you'd like to sing one of his songs here today. So by all means, let's do it.
Awesome. This is one of my favorites. It's one of his lesser known songs called uh, I just call it Put That Record On. I know there's an official name for it, but I'm blanking. But I hope you guys like it. I put that record on. Boy, you know what song. I let it play again and again. Knowing every line. You take me back in time. 'Cause tonight I'm wondering, what are you listening to? Is it a cover band and some kind of soundbar with us 999s and their guitars? Or is it something to get you through? Just a sad song playing on a radio station. Tears still fall and hearts still break 'cause you're hanging on. Is it a love song about someone new? What are you listening to? What are you listening to? And I like to believe that you're just like me. You're trying to figure out how a good thing goes bad. I don't know if I can let it go. Yeah, it's about to drive me mad. What are you listening to?
He's at a cover band on some college damn park. Hey, that's 99 miles. Yeah, guitar so easy. Something to get you through. It's just a sad song playing on a radio station. Tears still fall, my heart still breaks, cause you're hanging on. Is it a love song about someone new? What are you listening to? Is it a feel-good song, get you driving too fast? The one that gets you moving on faster, fast? Is it the kind that you can't help singing along, singing no? Is it headphones on a downtown train, or a window seat on an outbound plane? Is it LA sunny or the Memphis blues? I wish I knew. What are you listening to? See the cover band and some college sandbar. Yeah, that's not nice. Air guitar so easy. Something to get you through. Just a sad song playing on my radio station. Tears still fall, my heart still breaks, cause you're hanging on. Is it a love song about someone new? Hey, what are you listening to? What are you listening to? I put that record on. Boy, you know what song. I let it play again and again.
You're listening to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., and that was Eliana Weston singing her version of the Chris Stapleton song, What Are You Listening To? Or she calls it, Put That Record On. So that was very good. And like I said, you do a lot of covers, and I guess that's kind of your stick there for your social media. And I noticed there was one particular cover that you did that just kind of really helped you out as far as the social media advertisement when you did a Darius Rucker song. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, that was very much, as cliche as this is, that was a dream come true moment. I actually got a text from one of my music friends because, as weird as this is, I love my social media group, but I'm not always online, so I don't get notifications when, like, oh, you're getting 200 plus texts or you're getting DMs. I don't get notifications on my phone for that. And so I actually got a text from one of my music friends, and he's like, yo, Darius Rucker just commented on your song. And I was like, I think you got the wrong post. I think you got the wrong person. There's no way. And so I actually went online, totally like, sure. And I go on there and I see you have 2,000 plus messages.
Wow.
And at the very top, Darius Rucker had put something very simple like, love it. And so I freaked out. I actually started running around the house like a mad person, screaming at the top of my lungs, Darius Rucker just commented on my post and he said he loves it. I'm like screaming this at the top of my lungs. And so over the next 5 hours, I actually just sat online, like talking back and forth with what I call my music fans, Westerners. Just commenting back and forth with all of my Westerners, like, oh my gosh, can you believe it? And by the end of, I think it was 5 hours, we had over 200,000 likes. And I think it was somewhere around 7,000 people had commented and around 5,000 shares.
And that's great. And one of the things I have noticed in the social media aspect that if an artist does make that kind of comment on there,
Yeah.
whether they realize it or not, it really could help another artist out. And I do know that there are some that are out there that will intentionally put those things on there. And you definitely deserved a response from Darius Ruckers. That was a great cover. But I do like that when they do that to help out other artists because artists are like a family, right? And you kind of have to look out for each other.
Absolutely. And I think that's such a, again, maybe I'm just partial. I could just be biased, but I think that is something that has been shown time and time again in country music. Of so many of the bigger artists will just reach out, or they'll do a backing track. Dolly Parton is absolutely renowned for helping out young artists. And I think that's something so beautiful about the country music industry, is how much musicians will help each other out.
And so, who knows, one day maybe you'll get to perform with Darius Rucker, and won't that be a dream come true as
I would,
well? So,
that would be absolutely like, oh, I would feel so cool. I'd be like, I'm cool now.
so other than Darius Rucker, who would you love to be able to perform with on stage? If you can name one, or if you can't limit to one, a couple.
I think there would probably be 3 people that are at like the top of my list if I could. And I'm a very loyal follower. Once I find somebody I really love and believe in, I'm like, I will be your biggest fan ever. And 3 of those people is probably Brooks and Dunn, Reba, and Chris Stapleton. Oh, that would be so cool to do a duet with one of them.
Oh, definitely. They're all great names. And one of the things that I had happened to notice too is that, talking about support and stuff, I noticed in one of your videos that you had pulled up a young girl to come up on stage and dance with you. And that's another way to support, she may not be an artist, but those are things that kind of inspire little people to say, hey, I want to be a musician. I want to be on stage because somebody like Eliana Weston
Yeah.
pulled me up there. Do you think about that when you do that, or it's just something you're doing for fun?
I think it's a mix of both. I think I love people. I'm a people person. I will talk to a brick wall. So I love, if you're in the vicinity of where I am and I see one of 2 things, you are either having a really fun time and enjoying the music, or you look shy, I will probably pull you on stage and see if I can get you to be having fun. Um, just because I want people to have as much fun as I am having up there. Or I will, if I notice, I've had little girls come to my shows before and they'll bring their guitars. I've had little boys come and they're wearing my t-shirts. And if I see that, it just absolutely melts my heart, because I've had artists who have done the same thing for me that I hope I can even do a little bit of for another little kid. I've had artists pull me up on stage or let me sing when they didn't have to. And I want to be able to do that if I can, even a little bit for somebody else.
And that's awesome. I think, of course, I can't sing. There's a reason why I do my full time job, and I barely even make it doing podcasting myself. But I do remember many years ago, I got pulled up on stage with a bunch of kids when Alabama was performing,
Oh,
and we got to sing the Cheap Seats as backup singers to him. And I'll never forget that. Here we are, 30 years later. That.
yeah,
They did that. So when I saw you did that, I just wanted to make sure I brought that up, because that is such a neat thing that you do. And whether it's like, Darius Rucker commenting on your post, or you're doing that, I just love when artists do that sort of stuff.
thank you.
So as far as outside of music, do you have any hobbies or anything that you specifically do, other than, because it seems like you're always playing a guitar or singing. So is there time for anything else?
Um, I do guitar. Like, music is my number one thing. I sing in my sleep, so I just walk around the house singing. So that is a big chunk of my day. But I'm actually a nerd. I love books. I am a big book nerd. I love to tell the story that I got grounded from books at 14, and I
Mm.
still have not been ungrounded. I was the kid who used to sneak off and read during school hours. I am a full-time college student, so I'm trying to wipe that out and get that done with, because I'm not good at school, but I'm doing my best. Kids, do your school.
And what are you studying?
I am actually getting, or keep your fingers crossed, y'all. I could use all the fingers crossed that y'all can give. I'm going for a bachelor's in business and a bachelor's in history.
All right, good for you. And I think one of the other hobbies, I may have heard that you like to build things.
Yes. Okay. That is a weird one. People kind of are weirded out by that, but it actually started when my mom needed some housework done. Because I live in the middle of nowhere, it's really hard to find handymen, like people who will come and like lay flooring or who will change a sink. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll figure it out. There's YouTube. I'll figure it out. So it started with that. Um, so I've done all kinds of crazy stuff. It kind of spiraled into a bad thing then because mom's like, oh, she can paint my walls here. So about every 6 months, I'm painting walls, and it is something that I now regret.
All of a sudden, it became free labor, right?
Yes, I work cheap. I can be bought with a sweet tea and a French fry.
That is cheap. So, are you almost ready for Christmas? Do you still do like a lot of last minute running around?
I've got all my Christmas gifts but two, so I'm a little ahead of the game. And then our house is fully decorated except for the outside lights, and I've got to do all of that. But no, we are very ready for Christmas.
There we go. Do you have a favorite Christmas tradition, whether it's something that you've been doing for a long time or just something that you picked up?
Yeah, I think there is probably three of them that are my favorite traditions that we've done since I was little. One of them is my mom is a terrific baker. I love her food, and so she makes Christmas cookies for all our neighbors and anybody we know, the mail ladies, the trash man, everybody. And so what we do is it's a big family cooking day, and we all bake cookies, and then we do all the ice decorating on our gingerbread and our sugar cookies, and that's just such a fun thing. Another one we love to do is we do Christmas movies, and we watch all our favorite Christmas movies.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, I love White Christmas with Bing Crosby.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah, I'm an oldie. I love the 1940s and 50s movies. I'm, I'm,
Okay.
yeah, I say I'm the mix of 80 years old and a 5-year old.
Well, I like that too because I do love a lot of classics, and I asked this question a couple times on podcasts, and the popular answer usually seems to be the movie Elf, and so, which is a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it was nice to hear that you had something from the classic era. And what about Christmas carols or traditional Christmas music? Do you have a favorite one?
White Christmas.
Okay.
I think it's just such a beautiful, timeless song. Another one is like Merry Christmas Baby. I love that song. I like the Hunter Hayes version of that
Yeah.
song.
Okay. And I was hoping that maybe you can sing a Christmas song here on Hank's Corner.
I'll do my best.
Uh,
I just happen to have one. Good justice for y'all. I gotta change my capo. There we go.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm and all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
And you just heard Eliana Weston singing Silent Night here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. And so we got a little bit left in the year, but 2022 is right around the corner. Do you have any resolutions or goals for 2022? And what can we expect out of the music career from you?
Oh boy. I hope that our music family grows this next year. I am so grateful for each and every single one of the people that I have that support and follow me. I've had some who have been here since I was 11 years old, and some of them are new friends. But I hope that we can add more to our family, our music family. And I hope us. I have another one, but I can't say it out loud yet. But it does.
Uh, Give us a little hint. We won't tell anybody.
As long as you pinky promise you won't tell anybody, it stays here. I hope to have um, some music coming out, but I can't say any more than that.
All right. Well, hopefully, we can get some more Westerners on board to be looking out for that and in the new year. I do appreciate you coming on to Hank's Corner, and you're more than welcome to be a guest at any time. Please check out Eliana West's social media as you'll see it here below, and have a good night.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.